guys, here, listen, for the next couple minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys a quick little training and teach you on some ways that you can explode your business. Everyone say explode.
Explode.
I'm going to show you how to explode out of the blocks. You can start your business fast or you can start your business slow. Which one do you want to do?
Fast.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. For the next couple minutes, I'm going to share with you guys a couple of quick nuggets that are really going to explode your business off of the charts. All right, now, we all know about the system. All right, whenever you want to expose someone to the business, all right, it's a very simple system. First thing that you want to do is obviously you want to contact and expose, and you want to call them. And then what you want to do is you want to obviously put them usually on a sizzle call. All right, a little 5-minute pre-recorded overview so they can learn about what to do. All right, so they can learn a little bit and be pre-exposed to the business. And then from that point, you're obviously going to send them to the what?
Website.
Send them to the website. That's right. All right, so once you send them to the website, that's where they're going to kind of get their full exposure, and that's like the grand presentation. All right, that's where they're going to sit down and learn everything about what we do. All right, now, that's the standard way to do it. Here's the only thing with that, though. There's no real explosion, because you go to call someone up and you say, hey, listen, you have 5 minutes? And they go, yeah, I got 5 minutes, sure. Hey, can you get in front of the internet real quick? And they go, well, I can't do that now. I can do that, a couple days from now, whatever. You call someone up. Anyone ever gotten excuses before? All right, well, here's the thing. All right, I'm going to show you guys a way that, and here's why you get excuses, because there's not typically a lot of urgency on a thing. All right, so I'm going to teach you guys how to implement a little bit of urgency. And the best way to have urgency in your business is to have an explosion, like a grand launch. All right, so there's 2 ways that you can do that. You can either have a private business reception, which is like a grand opening launch where you invite a bunch of people, to your house or your apartment or whatever the case is. And what you do is you pop in a little DVD, and on this DVD, what's going to happen is it's got a full presentation explaining everything that you need to know about the business. So what you do is you call up the people that you know, invite them over to your house, you play a little DVD, and on that DVD, you just sit there with an audience of a few people. Maybe if you have a local expert by, they stop in, they're there to answer questions, and basically, instead of exposing one person at a time, you've exposed several and exploded your business. All right? So how many people would agree, if you only had an hour to build your business, would you want to spend that hour, all right, calling up, a few people and trying to get them to do stuff at miscellaneous times? Or would you rather just have an hour with, 5 people on a couch, 10 people on a couch, 20 people surrounded in your home, all right, and have them all watch that 1-hour DVD together in a room, have the excitement, have the synergy, and have all the energy, and when that presentation is done, 30-some minutes later, after that DVD's done rolling, all of a sudden you've got an explosion with 10 people being exposed at one time. How many people can see the leverage of your time?
Absolutely.
See, it's not necessarily, it's about working smarter versus harder. So that's one way. Now let me just give you a couple quick notes, all right, on inviting to a private business reception. Then we're going to talk about something else here in a minute, which is actually called private conference calls, which is a way to do it. If for some reason you can't do it at your home, I'm going to show you guys a different way of doing it so you can do it completely over the phone. All right, now, first things first with the private business receptions. All right, that's the in-home meetings, okay? So what you want to do, all right, is first things first is you want to contact and invite. So obviously, in order to contact and invite, you want to have your little guest list. Guys, this is like throwing a party. Anyone ever thrown a party?
Absolutely.
All right, so when you go to throw a party, what do? You got your little guest list. And then you start making some phone calls, and you start obviously inviting over to your house. So what you want to do is when you make that list, you want to call folks up, and you want to keep it real simple. And the first thing that you want to do when you pick up the phone is say, hey, listen, I'm in a big rush, but I'm glad I caught you. Do you have a quick sec? Because what that does is that just establishes a little bit, hey, you don't have a lot of time, you're in a rush, so you can't go into details. And the next thing you want to do is they say, yeah, sure, I got a minute. Say, hey, listen, what are you doing on Wednesday evening around 7 o'clock? All right, so what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and find out, hey, what do you got going on at 7 o'clock at that time? All right, and then the minute they kind of give you, they say, oh, well, I don't really have anything going on. Great. Guess what? They can't come up with an excuse not to come now, all right? And then you tell them, say, great, listen, I just hooked up with this company, doing a ton of expanding, and, and I can't promise you anything, but I just want you to come on over so you can see a little bit about what we're doing, all right? They're doing some big moves out here, and you're one of my good friends, and I thought you might want to know about what we got going on, all right? So come on over, we're going to have some fun. I'm going to have some, a few people over maybe, and we're just going to, watch a little video, okay? So, boom, that's it. Is that simple?
Yes, sir.
All right, simple. All right, so that's one way to do it. All right, and again, get with the person that brought you on board. They'll give you a little bit more pointers on what to say, but I'm just trying to keep this short and simple. Okay, So that's one thing to do. Now what you want to do is you don't want to make this, you don't want to be barbecuing and, and doing all kinds and cooking up a bunch of stuff. Simple. Chips and dip, bring people to the room, don't rearrange furniture at your house or anything. Because it's better to have a small apartment, or a small house, and have it packed out and people standing up because you got 10 people in a small room, than to say, oh, man, I'm renting out a venue, the clubhouse, you don't want to do all that stuff. Very simple. You invite them over, and a really good tip, is to have your sponsor, have someone, to help to follow up on these phone calls. I know a lot of times what we'll do is before we go to a place, you say, Cesar, I got 10 people coming over. Here's a little nugget. You want to invite about 3 to 4 times more people than you're going to have, all right, to the event. Because guess what? Stuff is going to happen. People are going to drop out at the last minute and say, oh man, the kid got sick, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 excuse, all right? So what you want to do though is you want to have that event, locked in stone and say, look, this is when it's going on. Because all of a sudden people start to rearrange their schedule if they believe that there's only a one-time event, a one-time opportunity to check a thing. All right, so that's the first thing. So you want to have that private business reception, and when you get there, you're just going to play the video. You can, even if your sponsor isn't there, you can pick up the phone. They'll be able to be there and answer questions via the telephone to your prospects and your guests. All right, now let me talk to you about how to do this business. What if you're like me? When I got in this business, I moved to Roanoke, Virginia. All right, and then I moved from Roanoke, Virginia, all right, to Wilmington, North Carolina. And in Wilmington, guess how many people I knew before I moved here? None. So for me to have an in-home event, it was a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, because I didn't have it. All my circle of friends, were in different states where I went to college and here and there. So, and they were all in different areas. So what I ended up doing was, and this is a great way to do this, because immediately, how many of you guys would like to get paid immediately?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let me show you what you can do right now. You can start today in this business, and what you can do is you can have what's called a private conference call. So just like the private business reception, except over the phone. All right, and here's what you do. You get started, and what you say is you call up everyone you know and say, listen, what do you, same routine. Hey, listen, I'm in a big rush. Do you have a quick second? Sure. What are you doing at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night? And they go, well, nothing. Why? Say, listen, I'm having a private conference call for a few select people, all right, and I wanted you to be one of those few select people. Here's why. I don't know if you heard or not, but I just hooked up with this New York Stock Exchange company, and they're doing a ton of expanding, and they're actually looking for some people. And I was on the phone with one of the top executives, managers, senior associates, whoever it is that you're working with. And when I was on the phone with them, I was explaining to them a little bit. I actually had mentioned your name, and he had mentioned the company's actually expanding in your area. So, I'm having a few people dial into this conference call, and he's going to basically go over a little bit about the details. Now, listen, here's the thing. First things first, don't get too excited, because I can't promise you anything. I don't even know if they'll take you on board. I don't know if they'll work with you. But what I do know is that he agreed to just kind of give a general overview about what this company is about. So all I want you to do is I want you to write down this phone number, and I want you to write down this PIN number, and at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, or at 6:55, 5 minutes early, I want you to dial in and just listen. Here's the thing. If you play your cards right, I'm going to kind of talk you up a little bit, and you listen and you like what you hear. All right, I'm going to have him, he'll probably end up calling you. Maybe, if you're lucky, he'll talk to you one-on-one afterwards. Does that sound strong?
Yes, sir.
So here's what that does, is that establishes a date and some urgency. So now all of a sudden, because here's what happens, a brand new person gets in, and all of a sudden, they get their list, and they go, okay, I got a list of people, and I'll contact them over the week. Or I'll wait till I have some extra time and then I'll make some phone calls. But what ends up happening is this incredible business ends up going on the back burner. You talk to your prospects and they say, hey, didn't you have some website said you were going to log me into or something? Yeah, just give that to me next week. Oh, give that to me the week after next. See, there's no urgency. Everyone say urgency.
Urgency.
Urgency is what drives this business. Having a date and an event is the best way to establish some urgency. So what you do now is you have your prospects call in. They call into the phone number. They call into the PIN number. And then an expert gets on the phone and just does a quick little 10-minute overview, real simple, real generic, but there's a lot of posture behind it. So, I would, if I was doing that call, I would say, hey everyone, welcome to the call. We see here you're actually, everyone on this call is obviously friends with Mr. Gregory over here, Mr. Larry Gregory, and he's a brand new associate, and he's very excited to be working with our company. He had said some really great things about each and every one of you guys on the call, so you're really the best, and the most elite of his friends, so definitely make sure you thank him afterwards. In the next couple minutes, I'm going to tell you about the company, the services we offer, and the kind of money you make. All right? And then I'm just going to do, or whoever the expert is going to do a quick little overview, and when the call's done, the whole goal is to, when that call is done, what we're going to close it and we're going to say, look guys, we're going to spend a few minutes, we're going to follow up with each one of you guys on this line individually, and if you like what you've heard here when we're done with this call, and if we like what we hear from you, we're going to send you in and log you onto a website, privately, one-on-one, a back office website that has all the information where you can see the company financials, the compensation plan, all the details on the services, and all the facts that you need to make a good informative decision. And that's what we're going to do, guys. And in one event, we're going to have an explosion. Everyone say explosion.
Explosion.
That's how you explode your business. Come out of the gates. Either do a private business reception or either do a private conference call. Does that sound good?
Yes, sir.
Can we all do that?
Yes, sir.
You guys want to explode your business?
Yes, sir.
Who here is going to commit to doing that?
Yes.
All right, give yourselves a round of applause.